Okay. I think we're back. Sorry about this. Uh, apparently it's very good now. Let's hope it lasts. Uh, okay. Where, what, so confused that I'm starting to revert to Swiss German. Alright. Uh, okay, so as I said, I was in that podcast. I showed it in the last stream, and I'm gonna link it. Alright, we already started the video. Okay. Let's start it again.
As shaky as the MCU Disney Plus shows have been, some of them have been pretty good. However, there's always
Okay, so I'm not gonna pull them up now because uh yeah, I'm not gonna, but I don't think there has been one good show. I didn't have many problems with Hawkeye, but other than that, like, that's shaky. Hawkeye is shaky for me, and the other ones are bad, really, really bad. Okay, let's go. Let's go on.
However, there's always the problem of even the good ones not really ending too well.
Again, what are the good ones? Because apparently WandaVision is a good one, which, no, I disagree with that. Even if you call the first two episodes good, which there is an argument to be made for that, but even if you do that, it fumbles the bag completely after two episodes and completely drops it at the end of the season. So yeah,
WandaVision was very unique. WandaVision was very unique and engrossing right up until the finale, where it mostly devolved into a big CGI fight with some really bad dialogue mixed in. Falcon and the Winter Soldier's finale.
That's not the problem, or I guess you could call that a problem. I mean, that's not really the issue with the last episode. The issue with the last episode is that Wanda is portrayed as a villain. She's enslaved a whole town. They tell her that they can feel her suffering. They tell her, like, they're trapped in their minds. The kids are trapped in their rooms. Like, and it is acknowledged, but it is also not. What I mean by that is that those things are being said, but she's not. The show doesn't seem to see her as a villain. Monica's excuse is that they like, she just lets her go, and she tells her that they will never know what you sacrificed, which is an insane line for somebody who's enslaved a fucking town. Like, come on. That's like, and also there's structural problems, of course. There's nothing really makes sense, but the problem isn't, like, the dialogue is bad, but that's not the problem. The CGI is pretty cringe and sludgy, but that's not the real issue with the show.
He portrayed Captain America as a terrorist sympathizer. Hawkeye's finale had
yeah, many other things, but yeah, that's fair. I'm good with that.
Mostly devolved into a big CGI fight with some really bad dialogue mixed in. Falcon and the Winter Soldier's finale portrayed Captain America as a terrorist sympathizer. Hawkeye's finale had a Kingpin appearance that was strictly inferior to every single appearance he ever had on Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen Hawkeye once. I was high. I felt it was okay. It felt okay-ish, but yeah, it had problems. And oh, he's talking about the good ones, isn't he? Yeah, no, Falcon and the Winter Soldier isn't good, not at all. And Hawkeye, as I said, I don't know. I'd need to watch it again, but yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm gonna abstain from that one.
What If's finale was nowhere near as good as the penultimate episode.
I don't remember shit about What If. I just remember that every episode I had problems with, but I don't remember shit about that show. That was forgettable.
Nice was
What I hated about it, this isn't really a quote unquote objective issue or whatever, but what I hated about it is that I liked the idea of like just unconnected episodes, and at the end they had to do like an Avenger thing out of it. I didn't like that too much, but uh, it yeah that
similar to WandaVision in devolving into a big CGI fight, while any potential
yeah Moon Knight was wasn't good either.
left in Secret Invasion was gone.
Like, it's hard for me to talk about these shows right now, except for like WandaVision. I could talk about a bit because for some reason that stuck with me. But I've seen those shows when they came out, right? And that's like Moon Knight. That's like what, like 2 years ago now, 1.5. I don't remember really what happened. I just remember that I had problems while watching it.
The time the finale had concluded,
And I didn't see Secret. I saw 2 episodes of Secret Invasion, then I just stopped. I couldn't bear it. Nick Fury being made into a fucking idiot. None of his accomplishments were actually his. Yeah, no. Just a punching bag. And that's from the first 2 or 3 episodes, just the ones I've seen. So, yeah, no, I didn't want to watch continue watching that.
one and only exception was Loki Season 1, which had a finale that, while not the best episode of the season and can be criticized for how low on the action, it did make for a unique
Wait, sorry, that dropped for me.
was Loki Season 1, which had a finale that, while not the best episode of the season and can be criticized for how heavy it is on the exposition and low on the action, it did make for a unique, thought-provoking, and
Your problems with the finale were that they didn't have enough action? That's your issue. This is why I'm pushing back so hard on the yeah, it's not great kind of argumentation, because no, it's not great. It's awful. And you saying shit like it didn't have enough action. That's not the issue. I would fucking love a show that doesn't have as much action, that actually focuses on the development of the characters. But the seemingly mandated action sequences, that's part of the issue. No, the problem with Loki season 1 finale is that, again, it can't make sense. It can't. There's a guy who wrote the whole universe because multiverses were at war with each other, and then he's like, yeah, but I didn't write past this moment, so now it's all up to you. And then instead of, they have all the time of the world. This is something that I'm that needs to be. They have all the time of the world, and instead of getting all like the smartest, because that's something they could do. Like, they could get all the smartest people from the whole history of the earth. They could get Tony Stark. They could get Einstein. They could get I don't know, fucking Da Vinci, right? And talk this out. Like, what do we do from here? Like, because Kang, the bad guy, the one who wrote the universe, he tells them that if they kill him and the multiverse happens, then there will be another multiverse war. So first of all, Loki just completely agrees with, like completely trusts him that that's what's gonna happen. This guy who's shifty as fuck. And then Sylvie, the female Loki equivalent or variant or whatever, just goes nuts in the other direction, just goes to kill him. Instead of them talking this out, instead of them getting, as I said, all the smartest people and like discussing where do we go from here. That would be like one of the smart things they could do, but they don't do that. Of course, they don't do that. And there's so many other issues with the whole season, but and this episode as well. But just him saying that the missing action is the problem, I that's baffling to me. That's fucking baffling to me. Sorry, that
certainly very meaningful finale that had a larger and can be criticized for how heavy it is on the exposition and low on the action, it did make for a unique, thought-provoking, and certainly very meaningful finale that had a large
thought-provoking. What? Tell me, please. What thoughts did it provoke in you, other than what the fuck? Who hired these writers? I would be so fucking curious to hear this. I'm already getting annoyed. We're a minute into this, not even a minute into this video, and I'm already getting annoyed.
larger effect on the multiverse saga than any other on the exposition and low on the action, it did make for a unique, thought-provoking, and certainly very meaningful finale that had a larger effect on the multiverse.
Meaningful? What's meaningful about it?
Criticized for how heavy it is on the exposition and low on the action, it did make for a unique, thought-provoking, and certainly very meaningful finale that had a larger effect on the multiverse saga than any other project.
I mean, in a sense, it did have a huge effect. It again again in the canon that free will doesn't exist, so that's a huge effect on not even the multiverse saga or whatever the fuck, but on the whole on the whole MCU. And then it opens the multiverse, which does have a huge effect. But at the same time, it's nothing that is set up gets really picked up by any other project. Doctor Strange runs with the multiverse, but puts his own sets up his own rules, its own rules that the project before that also picks up the multiverse, Spider-Man No Way Home. It completely contradicts that. The incursion thing is that's just tacked on to Doctor Strange 2, right? Because if that was a thing if that actually was a thing, that should have been we should have seen that in Spider-Man No Way Home. What I'm trying to say is that in a sense, yes, it is very impactful on the whole fucking MCU, not in a good way, but at the same time, it has this veneer of being really isolated. Yeah, okay. Sorry, we're gonna hear this again.
And low on the action, it did make for a unique, thought-provoking, and certainly very meaningful finale that had a larger effect on the multiverse saga than any other project. And yet, while sitting at an 8.6, it is tied for the second lowest rated episode of the season, the one and
Oh. Oh no, is that actually true? Is that actually true? An 8.6 is the lowest this show got on IMDb? Oh no.
Disney Plus show where the finale was the best episode of the season in my opinion is Ms. Marvel, but that's not really saying much since the show itself is not very good. There has never been a finale to a Disney Plus Marvel show that was both fantastic and the best episode of that season, that is until now. Loki Season 2, in my humble opinion, didn't just live up to expectations. Marvel show that was both fantastic and the best episode of that season, that is until now. Loki Season there has never been a finale to a Disney Plus Marvel show that was both fantastic and the best episode of that season, that is until now.
I'm baffled. I don't know what to say, really. It's not fantastic, and it's also probably possibly the worst of the probably the worst of the season, right? because with this, with like, let me check something. Where are my notes here? Yeah, yeah. Loki is now a time. Well, he's a time god before he even becomes a time god. Is the thing. Is the thing. He can control the skipping through time now, which is insane. That somebody could do that. That it never came up before. That Kang would write something like that. Um, and his great plan for like first half of the episode is just to learn engineering instead of going like he goes back in time a couple times because he what they have to do there's this huge temporal loom it's called which um what it does is take all the multiverse strengths and like put them together or whatever, but the holes aren't big enough, so they try to make the holes bigger. That, yeah, sorry, that I can't. That's what they say. Uh, um. So what he and they always fail with that. So what he does is like he goes back in time multiple times to learn everything about this so that they can do it. Um, Instead of doing anything else with that ability, like going back to when uh to the season 1 finale and trying to stop Sylvie from killing Kang, for example, which he does do that later on, but only after he realizes that they can't make the holes big enough because it's expanding at an infinite rate, whatever. Like, which they should have thought of that before because if a multiverse is like a new universe is created with every choice, then it should be expanding at an infinite rate. So then he goes. Like, the thing, what I'm trying to say is, he does the instead of doing anything else with his ability to control his place in time, he does this. He hyper focuses on this like tiny little thing they can do instead of just like think like and it's said that he does it for centuries instead of even like not even once he thinks oh maybe there's a better way here. Like that's a huge issue. um and then at the end of it he actually becomes god, not like a Norse god but actually the god of the multiverse, which I, I, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say at this point. I'm I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled.
Season 2, in my humble opinion, didn't just live up to expectations, but actually surpassed them in a season full of expertly written dialogue. That season, that is until now. Loki season 2, in my
That mic bump. Like, didn't you realize that in editing? Did you not realize it? Which you should have, because I've noticed it the first time. I just didn't want to say something about it till we got there. That sounds like cope, but it isn't. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Like, you should have gone back and re-recorded that, but that's a nitpick, I guess.
never been a finale to a Disney Plus Marvel show that was both fantastic and the best episode of that season, that is until now. Loki season 2, in my humble opinion, didn't just live up to expectations.
Stop saying in my opinion to shield yourself. It's fucking annoying.
But actually surpassed them in a season
I mean, no, it's pretty much what I expected. pretty much what I expected, to be honest.
full of expertly written dialogue, interesting storytelling, powerful characters.
What does that mean? What does full of what did he say? What did he say?
Till now. Loki Season 2, in my humble opinion, didn't just live up to expectations, but actually surpassed them in a season full of expertly written dialogue, interesting storytelling,
Expertly written dialogue. Wanna like illuminate us with an example because I thought the dialogue was pretty meh for the most part. An expertly written expertly written storytelling? Is that what you're saying?
until now. Loki Season 2, in my humble opinion, didn't just live up to
I fucking
expectations,
like
but
that, man.
actually surpassed them in a season full of expertly written dialogue, interesting storytelling, powerful
Interesting storytelling. What does that mean? Like interesting is super subjective first. Like that's what you find interesting, I might not find interesting, right? Uh but even then, if like can you explain yourself? Can you make an argument in just instead of just saying things? That would be fucking great, honestly. That would be awesome.
character development, and fantastic world building, and that's just in the writing. That doesn't even mention the acting, which was a season full of expertly written dialogue, interesting storytelling, powerful character development, and fantastic world building.
I mean, I'm just gonna repeat myself, but what's the okay, I have to say something about this scene that somebody on the podcast uh pointed out, but oh wait. Um what's the character development that's whatever you said? And what's the world building is shit. The MCU world is in shambles and it has been for ages, but it's getting worse with every project they release. I don't I don't know how anybody could make sense of this world anymore. It doesn't fit. It's like it's what the X-Men films were being criticized for after Days of Future Past, but so much worse. So much worse. Okay, the thing I wanted to say about this, can you see my mouse? No, you can't. The thing I wanted to say about this scene is that his suit gets destroyed here. Uh, just accept that, and he has a little crack on the glass there. That's why you see the tape up there. Um, don't even get me started on putting a tape on a crack in a helmet that's supposed to be like guarding you from the outside, but the tape doesn't uh doesn't get disintegrated. It's the only part of the suit that doesn't get disintegrated, which is pretty fucking funny. So if he went out with a suit made out of tape, there wouldn't have been an issue. Uh, I forget who said it on the podcast. I think it was somebody in chat. But yeah, it's it's really it's pretty funny to be honest.
And that's just in the writing. That doesn't even mention the acting, which was superb, the music, which is some of Marvel's best, the
Yeah, yeah. The acting and the music was great. It also looks really great. But if the writing is shit, that doesn't account for much, really, does it now?
visuals, which were at times mind-blowing, and hell, even the comedy. The season could be really
Oh no, I first of all comedy is writing, but second of all, I hated, absolutely hated the comedy because there was scenes where it was funny, but it's always interrupting the flow. Like a typical comedy scene in this show is like there's something really pressing they should get to, and then somebody just makes a dumb remark or a joke or something, and then we spend like 20 seconds, half a minute on that fucking joke, and it's just bloat. Uh, I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Uh, the good thing is right now that well, it's not at the stream quality, the bit rate. It's not at very good, but it's at good. So, uh, let's take that as a positive, I guess. All right.
Funny at times. All of this leads into the finale, although if I'm being honest, it's like a 3-part finale starting at episode 4, which is where the season truly blew me away for the first time, specifically.
It's not a 3-part finale. You know what it is? It's this season feels the most like a Mando season out of probably any Marvel show I've seen, in that the first 3 episodes are just side quests. They're just, you have to do this, or we have to do this thing before we can go back to the main plot. The first 3 episodes, that's half of the season. That's a lot. And then he's right that in episode 4 the plot finally starts, but that's a weird way of conceptualizing it, I guess. All right, we're 2 minutes in. We can do this.
Funny at times. All of this leads into the finale, although if I'm being honest, it's like a 3-part finale starting at episode 4, which is where the season truly blew me away for the first time, specifically in the insane ending. Episode 5.
Oh, it blew me away from the beginning and how bad it is. Damn. Dab. Sorry.
Into the finale, although if I'm being honest, it's like a 3-part finale starting at episode 4, which is where the season truly blew me away for the first time, specifically in the insane ending. Episode 5 continued that and also had an insane ending in its own right, and that leads into the finale, titled Truly Blew Me Away for the First Time, specifically in the insane ending. Episode 5 continued that and also had an insane ending in its own right, and that leads.
I remember the ending for episode 4, but I don't. No, for 5 and 6, but I don't remember episode 4. Oh, it's when Kang fucking disintegrates. Sorry, excuse me. It's when Kang disintegrates for the first time. I was distracted. Okay. I'm not taking ADHD medication now because it's 11 p.m. and I won't be able to sleep till 3 if I do that now. But next time I'll try to remember. I'm getting a bit distracted right now. I'm sorry.
Episode 4, which is where the season truly blew me away for the first time, specifically in the insane ending. Episode 5 continued that and also had an insane ending in its own.
Yes. Yes. Episode 5 had a really insane ending. That's true. Because it is where where Loki first realizes that he can control his time slipping, is what they call it. Basically, it can go back to any point in time.
Right, and that leads into the finale, titled Glorious Purpose, which is extremely fitting, but also kind of.
Which is extremely awful, because it's a great line from Avengers. It's already been appropriated in season 1, episode 1, which was also called Glorious Purpose, which, why would you call 2 episodes of the same series, especially if it's 12 episodes, why would you call 2 of them the same name, same title? That's fucking stupid. But also, it's just, I hate Marvel's obsession with appropriating elements, like superficial elements, surface level elements of Avengers without realizing any of the weight behind it. It's really, it's sad in a way, because Avengers is it's really a good movie. And they know it, and they know that it's beloved.
Crazy, considering the first episode of the series has the same title. I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It is pretty crazy, but homie, like, isn't that a bit of a problem? Like, I know it's supposed to be like we've come full circle kind of thing, but Like if you look for if somebody tells you, "Oh, you should like go see Glorious Purpose, the Loki episode," and then you look for it, then you're going to have a bit of a problem, aren't you?
I've ever seen that happen before, but I guess it fits the timey-wimey, sometimes time loop nature of the show. The episode began with the
Sure, whatever.
Marvel intro being played in reverse, which was similarly fitting and not at all expected, but we are fits the timey-wimey, sometimes time loop nature of the show. The episode began with the Marvel intro being played in reverse, which was similarly fitting and not at all expected, but we are then treated to the single best episode of TV that Marvel Studios has ever produced.
That's baffling to hear. That's baffling to hear. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. It's it's like the best. Let's see, what would be a contender for the best? See, they're probably WandaVision episode 1, right? Because there's if you just see that in isolation, there's not really many problems. There's many questions, but the problems come later in the season or in the show when they try to answer those questions. But that's like from memory, episode 1 could kind of work as its own thing, I guess. Yeah, that's probably the best one, right? Yeah, definitely not this one. It's not even probably not even the best episode of the season. I don't think so. No, it can't be. I don't know what would be, but it can't be.
Starting with some epic music and visuals, leading right back into the events of episode 4 with Loki.
I clapped when I saw the epic music and visuals. Like at this point, just watch music videos, right? Just watch some great music videos. There are some great music videos. I recently watched Black Star by David Bowie on a huge TV, and that's great visuals and sound and music. Like if that's what you want to do, if that's all you need, why have a story, right?
Now having mastered his time slipping, replacing.
And I'm even doing Black Star a disservice here because it kind of does have a story, but you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Best episode of TV that Marvel Studios has ever produced. Starting with some epic music and visuals, leading right back into the events of episode 4 with Loki now replacing his younger self and trying again to save the TVA and the multiverse. From there we get.
That's another issue. The replacing himself, because every time we've seen the time skipping before episode 5, yeah, just before the ending, is that he doesn't replace himself. There's two Lokis now. So but because they can't do that here, because he goes back in time like hundreds of times, and there would be hundreds of Lokis here now, they just changed the rules of the time skipping, which, yeah, that's not great writing. Just contradicting yourself blatantly, right? Can we agree on that?
Music and visuals, leading right back into the events of episode 4 with Loki now having mastered his time slipping, replacing his younger self and trying again to save the TVA and the multiverse. From there we get a classic time loop storyline, which is always fun. It's like one of my favorite tropes in
It always comes with loads of issues, or usually does.
Movies and TV shows, but this one is actually really unique in that it is not a man who's found himself in a time loop he needs to get out of and then learns a lesson along the way. It's a man who's deliberately placed himself into a time loop-like situation in an effort to achieve a goal, and an extremely selfless one at that. And
well, that's unique. I feel like there's loads of shows and films that do that with people that like I can't think of one off the top of my head, but it's not like a new idea, is it? Like the idea of uh using the time loop thing to like learn something or get some abilities or trying to. Yeah, Flash did that. The Flash did that, kinda. In the fight scene where he goes back and back and back and back to save Supergirl or whatever. I uh, and also, even if it was new, is that like, even if it was like the first time somebody ever did that, is that all you need? Shouldn't it be about the execution instead of just a new idea? Uh, okay. Go on, sir. What else was great about?
And learns a lesson along the way. It's a man who's deliberately placed himself into a time loop like situation in an effort to achieve a goal, and an extremely selfless one at that. And then the execution here is absolutely flawless. The writing is really funny and clever, the music is extremely fitting, Tom Hiddleston's achieve a goal, and an extremely selfless one at that. And then the execution here is absolutely flawless.
I I don't know what to say at this point, right? Just sure, I guess. Let's just all make reviews and videos where we say, "Oh, it was flawless, it was great, it was awesome." But or the reverse as well. No, it was awful, it was bad, it was nothing. And let's not elaborate at all. Let's not make any arguments at all. Let's just state it. Because if someone says it, it's got to be true, right? It's a YouTube man saying it. I I I I like, I'm begging you. Just make an argument. Is it that hard?
Like situation in an effort to achieve a goal, and an extremely selfless one at that. And then the execution here is
An extreme. Yeah, I guess it's selfless, I guess. Sure, whatever. I know. I mean, yes, but also no. Because the whole all of existence is supposed to be deleted if he doesn't do that, so that includes him. So there is like not that it's bad. Like, not that it's bad to do something out of self-interest, or that it's bad to do something where self-interest is involved, like in a vacuum, right? But it's calling it selfless. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
absolutely flawless. The writing is really funny and clever. The music is
It's really funny and clever. The execution is flawless. The writing is funny and clever. Yeah, bro. Sure. You know what? The writing is funny and clever, and the execution is flawless. Yeah. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, I said it, so. Oops. Too bad for you, homie.
extremely fitting. Tom Hiddleston's frustrated performance is great, and the centuries later section of the episode gained a genuine gasp out of me. It's such an interesting idea for some.
What? What? A text that says centuries later's made him gasp. I don't understand this man. Like, it, what? Because it took him because they said, "Oh, it's going to take centuries," and then it took centuries? It's all right. All right, homie. Whatever you say.
Has been utterly separated from time to be able to master any and all expertise with absolutely no time lost, especially for someone who's thousands of years old. So for them, 100 years or so, or a few hundred years even, is probably equivalent to, let's say, a decade for us. So while it's a long time,
First of all, don't know where you pulled that math from. That's seems kind of arbitrary. But second of all, I don't know if that's yes, of course your perception of time changes with the according to the time you have lived. That's why for an 80-year-old a year seems probably much shorter than for a 20-year-old, right? But at the same time, it's still centuries. It's still the same amount of time. It's not like you just blink and it's over. You can still do the same amount of things in that time. Uh, okay.
It's not an incomprehensible amount of time for them. It would have been cool to see a tiny bit of these centuries, maybe in a short montage, but that's nothing more than a nitpick. This title card was basically almost entirely
It's not a nitpick. That's would we have had to see that? I'm trying to think. It would have been nice, for sure, show and tell and all that, and let us feel what it's like. But I don't think it's a like a nitpick. Is a tiny issue that's inconsequential, but I don't know if that's an issue really. It's just something that would have been nice to have. I'm sorry for nitpicking your video. Okay.
as effective. The amount of time that Loki has now gone through makes the rest of the episode more effective as well. It makes the inevitable futility of making something bigger to accommodate infinity feel even more frustrating. As the amount of time that Loki has now gone through makes the rest of the episode more effective as well. It makes the inevitable futility of making something bigger to
I think something I would criticize about that is that you don't feel it. That it took him centuries. You don't feel it in his performance. He's like Loki has changed quite a bit. I mean, if we're going from this show in like a day, but even disregarding this show, he's changed quite a bit in like a decade or less. So hundreds of years of like and dedicating all that time to learning a skill or learning a whole field is that should change a man, and we don't have or a person should change people, right? And we don't get any change in his behavior or character. I feel like yeah, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, no, that doesn't seem right to me.
accommodate infinity feel even more frustrating. As Loki said later on, what a waste of time, as it's just from his perspective that time is even passed. Realizing earlier than this that the even more frustrating, as Loki said later on, what a waste of time, as it's just from his perspective that time is even
Yeah, you could say that about I mean all of MCU phase 4 and 5. But whatever, I guess.
utility of making something bigger to accommodate infinity feel even more frustrating. As Loki said later on, what a waste of time, as it's just from his perspective that time is even passed. I will say though, not realizing earlier than this that the timelines are infinite, so the loom being bigger doesn't do anything, is probably my one and only actual complaint with this episode.
I'm glad he mentions it. The timelines aren't infinite; they're infinitely expanding. That's a difference as far as it should. Yeah, it is a difference. Our universe is infinitely expanding. It's not infinite because it does have an end. But whatever. The point stands. It's something they should have realized because it's set up from pretty early on in season 1 that decisions trigger timelines, and even if you just have one timeline or universe, you have a lot of decisions every second, and now that those decisions spark new timelines, you will have a lot of decisions in every time. So like, yes, they should have realized that. I don't know what at an infinite rate means, but they should have realized that it expands extremely quickly, and that it probably isn't workable to accommodate that.
since it's something that I personally realized weeks ago. It also may be a complaint with the season in general. Then again, it's possible that the TVA simply never saw the multiverse as infinite, seeing as they've been able to do their jobs at all. Either way,
Yeah, I mean that's a huge problem as well, that they're even able to do their jobs. But uh um yeah, whatever. No, I mean uh again, it's not infinite, but yeah, you know.
would not say it's a big enough issue to take away from the episode, but it is probably my biggest issue with it. The episode then takes a huge turn away from the central.
It renders the whole first half of the episode pointless, my dude. How is that not a how does that not take away from the episode? Like, are you genuinely stupid? Is that what it Sorry, I'm getting mean. Sorry. I shouldn't do that. That's mean. But I'm
Conflict of the last few episodes, all the way back to the conflict of the season 1 finale, as Loki's full control over time is used to its full extent, and he's allowed to completely give up on whatever goal he had. Then, we get yet another self-imposed time loop, and while it starts with a similar idea to the first of completing a goal,
yeah, and even after however many times he does this, it's a bunch, he still can't anticipate Sylvie's moves. He's completely, utterly, fuck, what's the word? Completely and utterly incompetent. Thank you, brain.
time, convincing Sylvie to not kill He Who Remains. It then morphs into more of an inner conflict of whether or not Loki should kill Sylvie. Obviously, Loki from before this show probably wouldn't have hesitated to kill her. The series up until this point has given
No. Wait,
Loki such fantastic character development.
Again with the mic bump, dude. What the Do you not care? Is that it? Do you just not care? Is that why you don't make arguments? Is that why you don't re-record these? It's like one sentence, two sentences now, where you bump the mic. Is
Of whether or not Loki should kill Sylvie. Obviously, Loki from before this show probably wouldn't have hesitated to kill her. The series up until this point has given Loki such fantastic character development that, yeah, I do fully believe this inner conflict.
No, it didn't. There's no character development. There's a clip show in season 1, episode 1, and then he's good now. That's all that we did. There's no character development, none.
Obviously, Loki from before this show probably wouldn't have hesitated to kill her. The series up until
What I mean by a clip show, sorry, is that in season 1, episode 1, Mobius, that's Owen Wilson, shows Loki just a clip show of his life with like the saddest moments or whatever, and after Loki has seen that, he turns good, which that's not character development. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Point has given Loki such fantastic character development that, yeah, I do fully believe this inner conflict. The show has fully earned it as an effective and meaningful final conflict of the series, or rather, it's the impossible choice of either killing Sylvie, which will destroy everything but the sacred timeline, or allowing Sylvie to kill He Who Remains, which will lead to a war that will destroy everything. It is technically the same conflict as the season 1.
No. No, it doesn't. No, did you not? I thought this was your favorite thing ever. It's sorry. It's not. That's not the conflict anymore. It's that either. It's that the problem is that the time loom, sorry, acts as a failsafe. That if the multiverse ever gets out of control, or if Kang is ever killed, that the time loom is supposed to destroy everything except for the sacred timeline. That's the conflict now. It's not a multiversal war anymore. which just yeah, never mind. But
finale, but now with more context or the actual ramifications of Sylvie's decision, but also with a completely separate conclusion. I would also like to express how well I think they handled this part of the episode, Loki getting tired of going through the same thing over and over again, given the ultimatum of how he'll have to
yeah, which doesn't make sense. Like, he should be able. Like, let's be very charitable. Let's assume that Loki is stupid as fuck. After the 10th time of doing this, he should be able to anticipate Sylvie's moves. But he doesn't. He just the fight, it plays out the same every single time. How? How are you this inept? Like, do you I'm talking to Loki right now.
Separate conclusion. I would also like to express how well I think they handled this part of the episode, Loki getting tired of going through the same thing over and over again, given the ultimatum of how he'll have to kill Sylvie by Sylvie to stop her, so he just lets her go. And the use of "he who remains" is line from
he has to what? He has to kill Sylvie by
tired of going through the same thing over and over again, given the ultimatum of how he'll have to kill Sylvie by Sylvie to stop her, so he
that's weirdly worded, but I get what you mean now. He's trying to say that Sylvie gives him the ultimatum. Okay.
just lets her go. And the use of "he who remains" is line from season 1's finale, "See you soon," which has now been recontextualized to be addressing Loki directly, who he knows is in this loop. It makes the entire series feel planned out from the start, which it may very well have been. It was either planned
No way it has been. You really think that? No. Okay.
Textualized to be addressing Loki directly, who he knows is in this loop. It makes the entire series feel planned out from the start, which it may very well have been. It was either planned exactly this way and executed perfectly, or the writers were able to cleverly use a line from a previous season in a completely different way. Either way, color me impressed.
I'm gonna color you stupid. Dumbass. Sorry. I'm getting so fucking tired of this. This just clapping for anything. Like, this isn't clever. This isn't. It's nothing. It's just he said the line again, but now he means it kind of differently. No, I believe that they actually thought it was a multiverse war, and then they changed their minds. But that's neither here nor there, right? But acting like reusing a line or recontextualizing a line is like the be-all and end-all of writing, that's baffling to me. Standards have dropped so bad. I remember when Age of Ultron came out and people criticized that. That's not even in the same league as this show. It's
The small twist that Loki has fully mastered control over even other people's time and has been through this conversation before was brilliant. It also shows Loki to be even more powerful than He Who Remains, who needs to use that rock or whatever that is to control Sylvie's time, while Loki just does it with his hand. He Who Remains is
it's brilliant. It's great. It's brilliant.
such a fun yet terrifying presence, and hell,
No, he's not. Okay, this is subjective, I guess, but he's not terrifying to me at all. He's just a circus clown.
even the aesthetic of the Citadel at the end of time is great. There's nothing about these scenes I don't love.
Yeah, I guess you'll clap for everything. It looks great. That's not the issue with Loki. That's the issue with other Marvel projects, but not the issue with Loki. I agree with that, but
in an effort to figure out what to do, Loki returns to the first episode in a very series finale move to gain advice from Mobius. While Mobius not being more confused than he is in and of itself very confusing. The writing of this...
You think? Is that maybe an issue? Is that maybe a problem that Mobius isn't faced by this at all. Isn't faced by him seeing Loki. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like phasing into himself in a awful way. Something that he himself, uh, as in Mobius himself, called. I'm not sure what the wording is, but basically he said it looks horrifying, and now he doesn't even notice it. It's uh, he's not confused that Loki completely changes his demeanor. It's that might be an issue, no? Might be an issue with characterization. Might be a sign of not great character work.
Beyond that is fantastic. From the interesting to gain advice from Mobius, while Mobius not being more confused than he is in and of itself very confusing. The writing of the scene beyond that is fantastic. From the interesting dilemma of the baby Hitler-like story that Mobius tells, to lines like most purpose is more burden than glory, which is maybe my favorite line from the entire show.
Again, you're not making arguments. You're just saying it's fantastic and this happened. That's not an argument. That's not telling me why you like this scene or like this line. It's just nothing. Oh, we still have 6 minutes. Let's hope that like 2 minutes of this is outro. Let's just hope that.
To then describing living with that burden as scar tissue, it's absolutely brilliant and so insightful to Loki's dilemma. With some great performances from Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, we then get to the opposite perspective to Mobius's sometimes you have to make the hard decisions, as Sylvie tells Loki that sometimes it's fine to let things die, that maybe death is better than not having free will. This dilemma is legitimately thought-provoking, adding these separate perspectives.
Like there's movies and TV shows that actually present great dilemmas, that actually present thought-provoking ideas. This show is lip service to it at its best. At best, sorry. It's we. Here's a line about I don't know. Is it better to be dead or to have or to not have free will? And that's it. There's no conversation. There's no discussion. It's just people stating things at each other. Like, take Civil War, which is a similar issue on a lower scale, right? It's should they be controlled by the government but still be able to operate, or should they be, or not the government, the UN, I think, or should they not bow to anybody, but that makes them outlaws and not able to operate on the same scale? That's an interesting dilemma, and Cap and Iron Man actually have some great conversations about that. But this is not that. This is just two characters state their vague perspective, like in a sentence, and they do it like 2 or 3 times, and that's it. It's nothing.
From the people closest to Loki, with the ethereal music and idiosyncratic visuals in the background, which leads directly into the show's peak and some of the best moments in the MCU ever. Loki.
You're on thin ice now, boy. Best scene in the MCU ever? Okay, let's hear it.
To Loki, with the ethereal music and idiosyncratic visuals in the background, which leads directly into the show's peak and some of the best moments in the MCU ever. Loki decides to forgo the dilemma entirely and take the burden of glorious purpose on for himself, taking Loki's MCU character arc full circle from the first Thor movie and also the Avengers, but Loki repeats a line from the first Thor movie that, again, beautifully recontextualizes it to fit Loki's character progression. From there, we get some of the...
What's the line? Tell me the line. Tell me how it... Please, just make an argument. Please, I'm begging you. Just. Okay. Yeah. I don't. I thought I was gonna get through a couple videos here, but I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I'm really sorry. I don't know if I can do it.
It's visually stunning imagery in the MCU's history, with some of the best music I've ever heard in a Marvel project. In a scene where Loki gains a raggedy and run-down new Loki outfit, which fits his new perspective on his glorious purpose, with the classic horns that seem to be made out of the same material as the Citadel at the end of time, fitting the new role as well. In a scene where the main character simply pulls some ropes up some stairs and then sits down, we get the single most powerful moment from any Marvel Disney Plus show ever.
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm stealing the video at this point because I haven't paused in a while, but I don't know what to say. Like, he's not saying anything. It's like High Top all over again. He's not saying shit. I need next stream I'm gonna react to, I don't know. We could do like a Olisanvia video again. She was kind of cool. She had cool perspectives. I actually had things to contribute to, but this is nothing. This is brain fart.
The visuals, the music, the climax of the character development, the juxtaposition of Loki's initial goal of self-satisfying rule, now boiling down to a selfless sacrifice, is absolutely brilliant.
Okay, I'm gonna give him this in a different context, and this not being him being the literal god of the universe, it could have been cool, right? Let's imagine, I don't know, let's imagine Joss Whedon writing it, because he has a pretty okay track record. Buffy's really good, Angel is good, for most of it with those two, but when it's good, it's really good. Avengers is good. His X-Men comic is really good. I like that. Anyway, in a different context, this could have been cool, but not here. Nothing here is earned. Nothing here is anything. It's just writers vomiting on a page. That's all it is.
It's not a hero versus villain CGI slugfest. It's not a bland, not well thought out conclusion that has plagued the MCU's shows. It's a unique, distinct, and perfect conclusion to Loki's arc. And if that wasn't enough, this turns the multiverse into Yggdrasil, the Norse world tree, which is a visual treat and such a cool reveal. Distinct and perfect conclusion to Loki's arc. And if that wasn't enough, this turns the
it's perfect. Why? I don't know, because I said it. That's why. Because I felt good while watching it. That's why. Shouldn't we all make YouTube videos like this? Shouldn't we all just... Like, there's people who put so much effort into their videos, into their streams. I know people like that. With, like, 0 views. And and this fella just makes a 30-minute video with where he says nothing for 30 minutes. Just says, "Oh, it's great, it's perfect, it's amazing, it's perfect." And he gets like what, like 50,000 views? Let's check. 46,000 views for this. For a nothing burger of a video. Like, it's depressing. It's depressing.
Into Yggdrasil, the Norse world tree, which is a visual treat and such a cool reveal. The Yggdrasil origin story makes the fact that it's a Norse god at the center of this multiverse story that much more significant, which is so cool. For a lot a cool reveal. The fact that Loki doubles as the Yggdrasil origin story makes the fact that it's a Norse god
at the what? So I know nothing about Norse mythology, so this is just gonna fly over my head. Uh,
Center of this multiverse story that much more significant, which is so cool. For a lot of the
why
show,
though?
despite the fact
Tell me why, please. Tell me why. For
I liked it a lot, it kind of has felt like Loki never needed to be the main character. It could have been a lot of other characters, and they chose Loki because he was very popular and they were able to. Now that the multiverse is Yggdrasil, looking back, and this is a retroactive edition, it needed to be characters and more significant, which is so cool. For a lot of the show, despite the fact that I liked it a lot, it kind of has felt like Loki never needed to be the main character. It could have been a lot of other characters, and
does anybody ever need to be the main character? Like, if you have a story to tell about a character, then just tell it, right? I mean, what does that mean? What does that mean? Didn't need to be the main character. Did I don't know. Like, I'm like by which standard? What are you? Um, I don't know. I'm confused. Did Walter White need to be the main character of Breaking Bad? Well, yes and no, right? Because they did, yeah, they decided to tell a story about this guy, so that's what they like. What did? Yeah, okay.
they chose Loki because he was very popular and they were able to. Now that the multiverse is Yggdrasil,
Well, yeah. Is that bad? Is that a bad thing? Like, if you have an interesting story to tell, which I didn't, but if you do, just is it?
looking back, and this is a retroactive edition, it needed to be a Norse god, or at the very least, a Norse character, and Loki was definitely the best
No,
fit.
but that's retroactive. That's that's retroactive reasoning. Like like they've made it, like they could have decided not to have whatever the Norse shit is that's here to be here, right? It's, that's like saying Iron Man now needed to be the main character because he made the Iron Man suit, but like they could have had somebody else do the Iron Man suit. I
So this episode, I think, retroactively makes every other episode in this series just marginally better than it already was. And beyond that, I can't tell you
Gotcha. It's going from a 1 to a 1.2. Is that what you're saying? No, it's not. I know. Sorry.
how much this scene made me appreciate the character and show of Loki even more than I did. I don't think any other Marvel character has gone through better character development in the MCU, and I don't think any other Disney Plus show comes close to this quality. This is what I wanted Disney Plus Marvel to be, this high quality, high budget, amazing looking and well thought out TV that adds to the universe, and Loki's the only one that I think absolutely perfected that. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that this episode cemented Loki as the second best Marvel show ever, only behind Daredevil, while cementing Loki as one of the best characters in the
Oh, he's counting the Netflix shows as well, because from like
MCU. Proving yet again its superiority over the rest of the Disney Plus finales, this episode is 56 minutes long. I'm pretty sure that's the longest episode that Marvel Studios has produced.
long equals good, or sorry. Come on.
Characters in the MCU. Proving yet again its superiority over the rest of the Disney Plus finales, this episode is 56 minutes long. I'm pretty sure that's the longest episode that Marvel Studios has produced, and this allows the episode to take a significant amount of time to wrap everything up after the conflict has ended, establishing the TVA's new role of keeping King variants in check, even with a nice as produced, and this allows the episode to take a significant amount of time to wrap everything up after the conflict has ended, establishing the TVA's new role of keeping King.
I mean, the Marvel shows are so full of blood. If they just trimmed that down, they could do that too. Also, we get here in this scene that he's showing here, we get confirmation that the MCU mainline universe is Earth 616, which if you're even remotely aware of the comics, should be a gut punch. Because the comics universe is 616. Um, yeah, yeah, just from multiple angles, right? Equivalating whatever the fuck the MCU is to the comics universe is embarrassing and an insult. Also, just completely taking any possibility of the MCU being in the same multiverse as the comics out of the picture is also just kind of a weird decision now.
Variants in check, even with a nice reference to Quantumania, giving some nice low-stake talks between some of our main characters, OB writing a new handbook, Victor Timely not getting the handbook, Renslayer being pruned and potentially set up for something else, Sylvie being given her freedom, Mobius letting time go by, and Loki finding peace in his burden, smiling after hearing his friend's words from one of the infinite amount of timelines he now holds.
How? How would he hear that? What? I didn't even realize that.
What a goddamn perfect ending to this show.
Yeah,
I'm always
perfect.
foreseeing
It's
more of
perfect,
something good. I'm
homie. It's
definitely not one of the
perfect.
people who says that the MCU should have ended after Endgame, and this show, more than any other, holds significance to the saga, but I'll be honest, I really wouldn't mind if Loki remains in the background forever holding to his burden, Sylvie remains free, and Mobius retires. I've come to love these characters over the course of these 12 episodes, but this finale is so perfect for the story and characters that it could absolutely end here, and it's not just that. It's no secret that Jonathan Majors is going through some legal trouble right now with an impending trial that will
I know nothing about the case, so I'm not gonna comment on the case. I'm not. I know nothing about it. If he did assault a woman, that's bad, and if he didn't, then it's not. I don't know. Yeah.
determine whether or not he will return to the MCU depending on the verdict. They could certainly recast, but they might not want to. King hasn't exactly inspired the same hype that Thanos has.
Oh, you
Quantumania
think?
definitely saw to that. They may very well just want to
Quantumania is the culprit in that now, huh? I mean, Quantumania, from what I've heard, is really bad and everything. But like, was anybody hyped before that? Like, he had a pretty significant role in Loki season 1. Much more significant than Thanos ever has had before Infinity War, and people were pretty hyped for Thanos. So, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
retire King as the big bad and pivot to someone like Doctor Doom or Galactus, and this
Yeah,
finale
fuck it.
gives
Just
them a
bring
good
them in.
opportunity
Whatever.
to do so.
Fuck it.
The Kings are still out there and are definitely a threat, but they could easily just say that the TVA is succeeding in their main goal and are keeping the Kings in check, allowing them to move on to something else. I personally would like to see King's story follow through with. The Loki show specifically has made me way more interested than I otherwise would have been, and I know that I think Deadpool 3
The
is
Loki show set him up. Like, huh? I'm willing to bet my... No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm willing to bet... What am I willing to bet? I'm sorry, this is more interesting than you are. Let's say I'm willing to bet my... I'm willing to bet all of my music I've ever made, which is a lot and means a lot to me. No. Okay, those stakes are too high for me. But okay, let's say I'm willing to bet my music software. Like my ability to make music. Okay, this is getting harder. I'm willing to bet all my money on the fact that, or on the notion that you didn't even know who Kang was before the MCU. Like, I would be surprised. Okay, there we have it. That seems appropriate. Yeah, alright.
continuing this storyline, but I also think that Jonathan Majors brought so much to that role, especially with He Who Remains, King the Conqueror, and Victor Timely, that I don't necessarily think it'd be worth it without him, and I do think that Deadpool 3 could simply be setting up something else entirely. Regardless, that doesn't really matter about the quality of the finale. Season two's finale, which is also seemingly the series finale, is the perfect ending to both the season and the show,
You've
perfectly
said that,
capping
but
off the
it's not.
storyline of the show, Loki's character development, and potentially, if they want to, the whole Kang story arc. Possessing everything that the show has always done well, like great writing, great visuals, great music, and great acting, Loki gives us the very first finale to a Disney Plus show that is the best episode of the season. It's also the best episode of the show, and the best episode of any Marvel Studios project, and deserves a 10 out of 10 rating. If you were wondering the ratings I give to the other 5 episodes of the season, they are now on screen. This gives the season an average that could be rounded up to an 8.7, although I'd say it's actually
The fuck? A 10 out of 10? It's perfect. Well, I mean, yeah, he said it. It's perfect, I guess. Fuck it. Never mind writers who actually give a shit. Never mind all the great media we've had in the past. This is perfection. This is what writers should be striving toward. Holy fucking shit. We are in a bad time for storytelling. At least for the mainstream. We are in a awful time. And this is why people eat it up.
better than the sum of its parts, so I'd give the season a rating of a 9 out of 10, making it an easy top 10 MCU project of all time.
Wow. Oh my. Okay. Holy shit. Let's see. I do kind of want to. I kind of don't want to end here. Okay, before we go to anything else, again, I've been on this podcast.
Those are from Red Devilos Reviews. Welcome to our second episode.
Pause.
No.
Pause. Thank you. On this podcast, another review core, ARC number 2, about Loki season 2. I recommend you watch the stream. It was a lot of fun. We went through the whole season in not excruciating detail, but in detail. I mean, it's 3.5 hours. And if you want to have more insight into, I don't know, my criticisms of the show or the season, and those guys, Red, Unity, and Obi, Operation Bagel, yeah, go watch it. It was fun. I liked it. Okay, I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go get some booze. And then I think I want to react to something else. I want to react to... Let's see. Full fat videos. Let's see. Did he make a video about Loki? I think. Fine, I'll watch Loki. I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting, but it could also be like nothing. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do that next time. I would like to have a video where, like, the perfect video for me right now would be one that criticizes the show but doesn't go as far as I do, because I feel like that would be less frustrating, but I would still have something to say, and I would still kind of... The fall of Marvel Studios. We're in the end game now. I mean, we could watch this, right? It's not a Loki thing, though. And the title's kind of title of the stream is reacting to some Loki reviews. So let's see. Let's type in Loki review. Chairman, why the fuck would it? Loki season 2 is a triumph? No, we're not doing that. It's a 18 minutes. Loki is a show that exists. That's about season 1. Why are you giving me Sherman? Why are you giving me Sherman fucking... Kill your... I don't want to watch Sherman shit. Fuck you. Best of the MCU. Oh no, I'm not doing this for real. Oh, I saw this movie last Friday. The Hunger Games movie. It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. Okay, let's do this like real quick. Like just it's a short, so I've seen what.
So I saw this YouTube video full of lies, and I just gotta rant about it real quick.
Please
So
pause.
this YouTuber Joshua
Hello.
Rises.
Okay, thank you. Hello, can we go back? Guess not. Okay, so this guy is like he does shorts, I guess. I think I saw his short about Loki season 2 this morning, and it's really bad. But we're not gonna react to that. But I am kind of interested in YouTuber exposed for lying about Iman Vellani, which is that the actress of Miss Marvel? MCU hate is a trend. Let's see.
All right, just a couple questions here.
So I saw this YouTube video full of lies, and I just gotta rant about it real quick. So this YouTuber Joshua Rises made a YouTube video saying Iman Vellani is becoming toxic because the Marvels is flopping in the box office, but that is not true at all. Here is what Iman really said. So when Iman was asked on her thoughts the Marvels flopping, she said that's not her problem and she's happy with the final product, and this kind of question is for Bob Iger.
I mean, that seems like... Okay, I'm basically reacting to something I have no prior knowledge of, and I haven't even seen the... What was it called? The Marvels. But that seems like a cope, right? If she... if the Marvels was like super successful, she probably wouldn't say, oh, I'm not gonna focus on that, would she?
That was a really good answer. Her career just begun and she already knows how to handle the situation a lot better than other actors these days. But then we have scum like this calling her a rage quitter, all because it's a trend to hate on the MCU these days.
It's not a trend to hate, or maybe it is. I'm gonna give you that. Maybe it is a trend to hate on the MCU these days. But there's a lot of valid criticism to give to the MCU. It's not just all bandwagoning, right? It's the MCU has really gone down in quality over the last since Phase 4 started. And it's kind of sucks to just hear people dismiss that.
Now look, Marvel does have its fair share of problems, what franchise doesn't? And yeah, the Marvel...
That's true at the moment, what franchise doesn't, but that wasn't always true.
flopping the box office is fine to talk about, that's a whole different thing. But flat out lying just to add more fuel to the fire and get more clicks is wrong on so many levels. And we got fools believing it.
Okay, you can see all the comments because my setup is still here for... Oh, no, you actually see the whole video, I think. Maybe not. Okay, let's read those. So the first one is by @Prince. That woman is just upset that her character was rejected just like the character in the comic books. No one wanted Miss Marvel and it's shown that no one wanted her. Someone needs to let her know that since she's at the beginning of her career, pissing on the people you need to keep you popular can have horrible consequences, like making people not want to go see anything else you're in. So here's the thing. I haven't seen the video by this Josiah guy, and he didn't show any clips, so no idea if this is fair or not. That said, one of the only actors that wasn't getting much criticism as she wants to attack fans for a bad movie. Again, same. Many people now finally realize the ugly, repulsive abuse rampant through behind the Hollywood life. Many of us with the dollar to spend on those movies have chosen to not support any of the criminality. Okay. So I think what he was trying to say, right, was that because I can't go back in shorts because YouTube fucking sucks. But I think what he was trying to say is that they're brigading her, and from these first three comments, like the criminality one is kind of weird, but it's not like they're attacking her really. They're just criticizing something they believe to be true, right? She said she would like to see improvement within the fandom. Laughing emoji. Sweetie, we'd like to see improvement in our entertainment. The beating will continue until moral improves. Like, I don't see the moral thing. Morale, maybe? Oh, maybe he means morale. Or they, sorry. Maybe they mean morale. Yeah, I'd like to see improvement in my entertainment as well. This isn't an attack. This is just, like, expressing an opinion. It's like, these are... Like, I've expected some sexism here or anything, but this isn't really anything. Every time one of these screeching harp... Okay, that's kind of mean. But I mean, it's mean. I don't know what a harpy is. Maybe that is a sexist attack. I'm not sure. But even... Well, if it is, I don't know. That may be quite a bit out of line, but... If it isn't, then it's just an insult. It's not like an attack, right? There's a difference between saying you're an asshole and saying, I don't know, kill yourself or something like that, right? Goes off on a rant at the fans, brings tears to my eyes. That's how hard I'm laughing. Okay.
These kind of people don't deserve a platform, especially those that make disgusting thumbnails like this.
So I don't really see the problem. Like, I don't like Nerdrotic at all, really. The MCU bit is really cringe in my opinion. His whole shtick of culture war shit is really cringe in my opinion. Yeah, the whole woke shit. It's very cringe for me, but and when I see him on like EFAP or whatever, I'm always very much cringing. And he does say some unhinged shit from time to time. Like I forget what he actually said. But in the EFAP stream on Loki season 1, he says some, like, go watch that stream. He says some really weird shit, but still saying they don't deserve a platform, that's no, I don't like that. I'm of the opinion everybody should deserve a platform, even or be able to have a platform, even like the worst shit we have, like even fucking Nazis. I know I'm a bit in the extreme there, but this is cringe. This is right wing, maybe. I guess you could call it that, but it's not like I like think this doesn't deserve a platform. Borders, or actually no, like jumps into the authoritarian for me, and that's a no from me, boy.
He can even get sued for defamation, which I hope he does. Why do we give these people a platform? So I
see. I should be able to watch. I should have watched the video, because defamation is wow. Okay, let's go watch his Loki review real quick. It's a short as well, so Who should direct 4 or 5? I don't care. Craven the. Wow, he makes a lot of videos. Wow. Where's your Loki review, bro? Come on. Avengers, Marvel Fandom sucks now. Collider gives terrible ranking on MCU movies. Marvel Spider-Man 2 gets nominated 7 times. Okay. Marvel's ending explained in mid-credits. My spoiler review on the Marvels. Loki is the new face of the MCU. There we go, there it is. Loki Season 2 finale review. MCU game changer. You ready? Let's go.
All right, Spider-Man fans, great.
No, that's not what I clicked on. YouTube, come on, do the right thing. There we go. This is it.
All right, guys. So Collider.
Here, come on. Can we watch?
All right,
this now?
Spider-Man fans, great.
What the fuck? YouTube, what are you doing? Let me watch the video, please. The fuck?
Here's my spoiler review to the Season 2. All right, Spider-Man fans, great.
The fuck? Okay, we're not. Listen, it's not that important. It's just a really bad like shorts review. Okay.
So I saw this YouTube video full.
I can't find like. Can't find the video I would want to watch here, so. All right, let's watch the full fat video. But as I said, I'm gonna go to the loo real quick, and then I'm gonna get some wine, I guess, because yeah. So oh, here's what I could do. Show you some music I've been working on, because why not? Okay. All right. Where's the source? Chick Pro. Okay. Right. Where's my Logic? Ah, you piece of shit. Sorry. Let's make this big. Okay, this is some music I've been working on. You can listen to this. Oh wait. Yeah, it says starting soon now. I'm too lazy to change it now, but yeah, you I guess I'll see you in a bit. I won't see you, but you know what I mean. I'm back. Sorry for the music just suddenly stopping. I guess everything has to go wrong today. Hey, at least wow. Why did the really? Stream quality is really good. It says very good. Whatever. Oh, back to good. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I got myself yerba mate. Got myself some wine. But I also got myself some devil's lettuce. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch the final watch Loki video. If it is like the or one we've watched where there's no arguments being made, I might just start smoking this. But if there's actually some arguments, I'm not. Fair? Fair. Alright. And I'm not going back to watch together because
The Marvels.
let's see how this looks. Wow. Oh, this is a video we gotta watch. Holy shit. The abysmal failure of MCU Spider-Man. I'm gonna save this. Wow. Alright. Sure, bro. Gonna save this. MCU Spider-Man, one of the best things the MCU has ever brought us. But sure, I guess. Okay, you know what? For now, this is fine. With the cropping. I'm not gonna change it now. Because you can see the whole video. There's no embarrassing recommendations here, so there we go.
The Marvels.
That's it? That's the best you got?
So last week I said that the MCU was beginning a downward spiral and it looked like the Marvels was only the beginning of the trouble ahead. Well, I saw the Marvels a few days later and it did indeed suck.
Oh, that sucks.
Nia DaCosta
Yeah, as I said, I haven't seen it, but I could believe that in a heartbeat, especially from what I've heard from people I trust and YouTubers I trust. I can believe that. Why is there a random? Yeah, you see that? There's a random video here recommended to me about Logan Paul, the most evil man on YouTube. Wow. Now we're in 42 minutes. Okay.
made a pretty engaging spin on Candyman, and she's pretty much admitted that Kevin Feige commandeers these movies at a certain point, so it's no fault on her part, but really, this amalgamation of two streaming shows and a once billion-dollar sub-franchise simply didn't have the chops to keep my interest. The power-switching gimmick ended up coming across as nonsense, with fuzzy rules thanks to some less than stellar editing, and it feels like it basically becomes an afterthought after the first action sequence. Nick Fury feels like he was pulled from a point in time pre-Secret Invasion, but somehow this is post that lame-ass streaming series. Well, at least Nick is looking rejuvenated. Happy for him.
Strong theory.
The movie feels like it skipped over what would have been a true Captain Marvel sequel. We just jump right past the setup at the end of the first movie, and Jude Law, I guess Jude Law was too busy working on Disney's other ailing franchise. Believe the anti-hype.
I'm not trying. I feel bad again for not pausing, but I have nothing to say about the Marvels, so we're just gonna have to get through this, I guess. Sorry, I think Matt is his name. Sorry, Matt. I'm not trying to steal your video.
This villain is just as one-note and disappointing as everyone is saying, and there's really no excuse to have antagonists be this one-dimensional.
But in my defense, I thought this video was about Loki, sir. You've tricked me.
10 years on from Malekith.
And you can look out the window. When you look at the world through a window, it makes it awesome, like TV.
Of course, you've got your usual culture war camps engulfing the reaction to
Was that pulled from the film? Wait.
And you can look out the window.
this be this one-dimensional 10 years on from Malekith.
And you can look out the window. When you look at the world through a window, it makes it awesome, like TV.
Of course,
That's not the original audio, is it? Can't be.
you've got your usual culture war camps engulfing the reaction to this movie. You can't have a Marvel movie disappoint anymore without someone positing it's because of rampant racism, sexism, etc. Or that the audience gleefully wants someone positing it's because of rampant racism.
Like TV.
Of course, you've got your usual culture war camps engulfing the reaction to this movie. You can't have a Marvel movie disappoint anymore without someone positing it's because of rampant racism, sexism, etc. Or that the audience gleefully wants these things to fail and are simply nasty little haters. I'm aware that there is bigotry in some of these fandoms, but I think tarnishing everyone with the same brush merely because they dislike a movie is in bad faith.
That seems like a sensible enough take to me. It's hard for me. I don't know, I'm vaguely aware of people like Nerdrotic. What else? The Heel vs. Babyface guy. Drinker. Although I wouldn't put Drinker in, he's adjacent, but I wouldn't put him in the same category from what I've seen. But I don't watch their videos, so I don't know how bigoted they are, and I don't know how bigoted, how big pieces of the fandom are bigoted. So what was my point? Yeah, so I just can't say how. What's the word? I can neither remember the German nor the English word. That's kind of bad. Prevalent, how prevalent that is, but I'm sure there's some. But yeah, the takeoff there's might be some, but that's not everybody. That's fine to me. Although I would take some issue if, for example, he put EFAP in that camp, like Mahler and Co., because I wouldn't call. I don't think they are.
It's often a malaise of factors that lead to these movies getting poorly received. Honestly, it feels like you could champion people of colour and women in these movies, both on screen and behind the camera, and then, you say one of these Marvel movies isn't very good. Well,
Why don't you go join the rest of the fucking Nazis?
it is much easier to say something like Thor Love and Thunder is trash, because there's no way anybody can link your dislike of the movie to bigotry in an attempt to destabilise any negative reaction or garner attention on their social media platform of choice. As per usual, all these outlandish takes and reactions come down to marketing. It is much better for your...
I agree, with the gist of what he's saying, but it feels like channels like him and all the mainstream review channels are just years behind on everything. I remember his review of Loki season 1 and he loved it. And I don't now everybody's critical of the MCU, but it's been bad for years now. And nobody said anything. And same with what he's talking about here, right? The calling people sexist to diffuse criticism. That's something that's been happening for ages, I feel. Only now people in this camp are talking about it. That's just, I don't know, I agree, but did it take you this long?
platform to grow. If you say something really outlandish,
It is exhausting.
and just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Loki season 2 rolls around and somehow sucks even more than the Marvels. This is the worst MCU thingy Loki has ever been a part of. Just front to back, this series.
What, is he making a joke or? Because wow.
Oh god, I can feel your anger rushing to the comment section as we speak. Well, yeah, psych, Nav. Of course I don't think that. Unlike a whole host of recent Marvel releases, this feels like some forethought was paid to the story and the characters.
Oh, okay. Ah, there was some hope. Alright, let's go through this. I'm suddenly much less enthused about this video.
Making you feel something, as well as giving us resolutions and arcs. What a concept!
What a concept!
The series kept the focus firmly on being a character study of Loki.
Everyone here knows what you're doing, you know. You're just trying to make up for all the awful shit you've done in your life.
But this, first of all, it's not an interesting character study. If you want an interesting character study, I don't know, watch In Bruges. In Bruges is really, like, explores character really well. Watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's a good multiverse story with some great character work. But this isn't. Or watch Breaking Bad. For fuck's sake, like that's some great character work. That's the show. But this isn't. It's not that. It's not. It doesn't do anything. Is the problem? Like, it brushes characterization every so often, but it doesn't do anything with it. It's and then the second issue is that this is not Loki as he should be from, like, remember, this is Loki from 2012, Avengers Loki. It's like the worst Loki has ever been. And he just turns good within like a day. That's not character development. That's character, you could call it assassination. It's, yeah.
You pathetic little man.
Even though he's set on a path to redemption, he still has to contend with the horrible things he's done and the misguided idea of his glorious purpose. Mobius telling him that purpose is more burden than glory was a fantastic way to send him hurtling towards his final God Loki form, doing something utterly selfless yet completely isolating and punishing. Loki doesn't want to be alone, but is willing to do so for all eternity just to save his friends and give everyone a chance.
His friends he's known for a week, maybe. That's also the thing. Loki season 1 and 2 take place over maybe a week, maybe 2 if you want to be really charitable. You're not making a deep connection with somebody in 2 weeks. That's not.
Hiddleston's ad-lib in the final episode calls back to his first appearance, and alongside the Avengers' glorious purpose callback, this whole ending feels so attuned to everything we've seen from the character since 2011.
No.
I'm the kind of God I need to be for you, for all of us.
And how cool is it that Mobius and Loki
It's just nothing. It's just jangling keys. It's not developed. It's not this, like,
first conversation are also their last.
Time travel!
These two have been the beating heart of the series. How many characters in the MCU have gotten the chance to sit down with some pie and talk about an existential crisis?
Get me a big bowl. Pie, some ice cream on it. Good.
I'm really going to miss this character. He's been one of the best post-Endgame additions.
I kind of enjoy watching Mobius, right? More so than most characters, most post-MCU additions. Although I did enjoy, what was her name? Kate Bishop? I did enjoy watching her as well, because she was like bratty and everything, but she went through like some sort of an arc-ish, I guess you could say. That's beside the point. But he's really stupid. Like, a lot of his decisions are really, really, really dumb. So I wouldn't put him up there with, and it's not intentional. Like, it's not Homer dumbness, right? Where he's written to be dumb. he just makes dumb decisions, and the writing doesn't realize it or acknowledge it at all.
The entire cast was so strong, building upon the foundations of Season 1, with everyone from Casey to B-15 getting satisfying endings. Seeing the TVA ponder their lives outside of those work walls brought to mind Severance in flattering ways. That being said, Kei Hu Kwan's OB really stole the show. His character was an utter delight, hilarious and heartwarming in equal measure.
He's also not very smart, which is funny to say because he's supposed to be the smart character. But his acting is good. Again, he was really great in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Sylvie felt a little sidelined this time around, and you could definitely feel Marvel downplaying the romance angle.
Thank fucking God. Holy shit. I hated her character in Season 1. I didn't like her in Season 2. And their relationship is so fucking weird. Holy shit. Like, remember, she is Loki, just as a woman. Which is pretty fucking weird, right? To fall in love with yourself as a woman. And also, again, around her he doesn't behave the way he should as he's characterized. He's not someone to, like, if you watch Avengers 12, he's very headstrong. He's not someone to buckle to anyone. And with her, he's I'm trying to say this. He just buckles to her at every turn. He's completely emasculated, I guess, which isn't the word I like to use really, but still, it gets the point across.
I think that's a shame, because they already made it such an integral part of the story. I think it's melodramatic to call it self-cessed. It's bloody sci-fi. They're not really the same person, are they? Like, really. Sylvie is her own character. But, whatever.
I can see that argument, but it's never really acknowledged, right? And I feel like if somebody falls in love with themselves as a woman, that's something that should, even if they are like their own character, that's something that should like weigh on you in a way, right? It's a really weird feeling to have.
What she did get to do was good. Eric Martin was bumped up to head writer of Series 2, and that ended up being a great move. In an interview with Script Magazine, he outlined his priorities, stating that the first layer of work is just character. I lay all of that down where I think of who they really are right now, what they want, what they think they want, and what they really want. What starts to feel juicy in that? What starts to feel meaty? And
then why are you so bad at it? Why don't they ever go below surface level? Like, there's nothing deep about it at all.
Meaningful. This adherence to getting emotionally involved with the characters and feeling out their desires and deeper meanings is why this show has stood head and shoulders above so much theme park superhero fare released in the last few years. Directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead are a directing duo I've admired for almost a decade now, starting with 2014 feature Spring. Their compelling sci-fi tales ranging from The Endless to Synchronic starring the MCU's own Anthony Mackie to Something in the Dirt meant they were perfect for Loki. Alongside directors Daniel Deleu and Kasra Farahani, they ensured this season is the MCU's best looking show by a mile. It feels like a
yeah, again, it looks great. It's just why are we focusing on that when the writing is so bad? Because here's the thing, right? TV shows like this are a storytelling medium, so the storytelling really should be at the center of it, and if the foundation of it, and if that's bad, then everything else doesn't really, like, it. You can appreciate it. I appreciate the music a lot. I really like the music, I appreciate the acting. I appreciate the visuals, but it's all there to support the story. So, and if that falls flat, I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like you make a cake and you make it out of shit, and then you put like frosting on it, and that's really beautiful and whatever. But the cake is still shit. I'm still not gonna eat it, right?
Requirements, but I was so happy to watch an MCU project where I have the constant confidence that the filmmaking deployed is going to pull me along the story in the most engrossing and engaging way possible. Some particular highlights include Sylvie's record shop scene, seeing the TVA slowly get compacted in a brilliantly horrific scene, and Loki using all manner of powers to halt X5.
I hate this shot. And here's why. Because it's really good. You see like Ravonna doesn't like this at all. But she feels like she has to do it. And Miss Minutes here is really happy about this. Like she's got this psychotic kind of look on her face, and that would be so interesting if they explored it at all. But again, there's just lip service to it. Like, yeah, it's just missed opportunities after missed opportunities. I think that's another problem with this.
And Loki using all manner of powers to halt X5. This was cold. It's also nice to see Loki at the height of his powers, following classic Loki's suggestion to ditch the knives.
Yeah. There's so many problems with this scene, but yeah, it looked good.
Great to see him use his telekinesis more often, and all manner of magic spells.
His telekinesis that was invented in the last movie? Great, thank you. Yeah, it's great to see that again. In the last season, sorry. Yeah, it's great to see that again.
Of course, the direction and cinematography is bolstered by the best production design the MCU has ever had, which is also thanks to Kasra Farahani. The TVA, He Who Remains Palace at the End of Time, even the retro McDonald's, it all looks flawless. Look how far goodwill for the MCU goes when you put honest-to-God effort into proceedings. Overall, I think I preferred the first season, if only because it felt more fresh, and that's when the most change occurred for the Loki character.
Again, over like a 10-minute scene. Not even a 2-minute scene. This is something we discussed on the ARC podcast, which you should go watch. Which one is better? And I have no idea. Because like I will never get over the fact that season 1 deleted, not even deleted, but like retroactively deleted free will. That's like something I'm not getting over. And the reason why I hate that so much is that the best thing the MCU has had was characters. Not all of them, but the good ones were really good. And none of that means anything after Loki season 1 because they didn't make decisions, and characters are based on their decisions, right? That's what makes them who they are. So if all their decisions are pre-written, aren't their own, then there's not much character there. That's like why would I care about Iron Man or Spider-Man or Cap or Black Widow or whoever after being told that none of their decisions were their own? Like, I don't even know anymore who those people are. Yeah. So I'm not getting over that. That's why I hate season 1 more than this one, I think. But I don't know which one's better.
This season felt more of an extended epilogue to that first series, but it ends on a really strong note, and I feel like at some point I'd actually love to dive in and binge all 12 episodes. With this season, I think Loki has edged back out over WandaVision as my favourite Disney Plus Marvel show, but that's not to say WandaVision isn't still very enjoyable. I'd say the key thing both of these shows got right where the others largely got it wrong is that they really feel like they could only be told in this medium. These shows feel like television, they don't play out like 6-part 4.5-hour movies with huge sagging issues in the middle. I found the time.
I would like to know what you mean by that. I would like to hear like this isn't as bad as the last video we watched, but it still has this issue of not really explaining anything he said that much.
Bloom story thread, no pun intended, a bit too obtuse to be engaging early on, but I was still invested in the show because of the characters and their personal journeys. And then, hey, what do you know, the Time Loom stuff actually came together and ended up quite involving by the final episode when things took an Edge of Tomorrow turn and Loki was forced to repeat proceedings.
Right, Edge of Tomorrow! Sorry. Yeah, that's another... just... the other video where he said that it was so unique. That's another example. Yeah.
Over and over until he got it right. Time Loom, I've come to bargain. Which also reminds me...
Right, that's another one! Thank you, sir. Thank you. That was it. Like, Doctor Strange isn't great. Movie, but I really liked that Dormammu scene. That was really good. Sorry.
Right. Time Loom, I've come to bargain. Which also reminds me, I got some flack in the past for saying Loki was like Doctor Who, a really rather tepid, apolitical thing to say that somehow still brought the ear of sensitive Who fans, and yet, after another season, I'm sorry, the bloody Doctor Who references are right there. Every time Loki and Mobius go on another little duo time hop to somewhere weird and wonderful, you can feel the Who. When Loki lives through...
I've never seen Doctor Who, but again, this is the third episode is like a great example of the side quest thing I was talking about earlier, because it literally is, wait, before we can go on to the plot we have to do this thing. And you can have filler episodes, right, in a show that has like 20 episodes or whatever, but if you have like a 6-episode show or season that is supposed to tell like one cohesive story, and you sidetrack the plot for 3 episodes, that's not great. That's really not great.
He's trying to fix the loom, I couldn't help but think of the Doctor's tenacity in Heaven Sent, 2 gods forced to relive the same moments using only their ingenuity to beat eternity. Watching Loki prune himself felt like the kind of twist Moffat would have enacted had he been writing the God of Mischief himself. The time trips were the most fun this season had.
This was so pointless.
Seeing X5 aka Brad Wolfe try and outrun Loki's magic in a brilliantly directed London set 70s chase was great, as was Victor Timely's antics in the 3rd episode. It felt like every chapter was jam-packed and made full use of its runtime, something that was also present in the 1st season and rarely present in these 6-part Marvel streaming shows. What most impressed me about Loki Season 2 was partially the thing that was putting me off in the first place. After a wonky introduction to Kang in Quantumania and a Season 1 finale...
The Kang introduction is in Season 1 of Loki. I don't know what...
It was more setup than payoff. I wasn't that jazzed to see such a good MCU show get so caught up in the multiverse saga. But when the twist comes...
But this is what kicked off the whole multiverse thing in the MCU. What do you mean?
He Who Remains wanted all this to happen, just so that he would not in fact die, only for Loki to end up taking his place and instigating a TVA that will hunt his variants. Well, it all came full circle. With all the rumours of Kang being replaced by a different overarching big bad for Secret Wars and the Blank Dynasty, it retroactively feels like He Who Remains was the premier Kang. I feel like the MCU has faced him now, he's been the nemesis for Loki, and it feels fitting. The first big villain for the Avengers, the once disciple of Thanos, is instrumental in taking down Thanos' replacement. Old big bad meet new big bad.
That seems like really contrived reasoning, my bro. I don't know. No connection at all. I don't see the connection at all.
By new big bad. Sure, it seems like we could see more Kang variants in the future, but I think the idea that the TVA's main objective is now hunting them wraps that up if you need. I'm satiated by the Loki versus Kang narrative in both of these.
It's like, it's something I've had an issue with in the whole season 2 is what is the TVA's purpose now that the multiverse exists, because their purpose before was making sure that doesn't exist. Them having a purpose now, I guess that's something. I don't know how they're gonna track down an infinite rate, like Kang expanding at an infinite rate, but whatever.
And the God of Stories won, banishing He Who Remains to his fate at the hands of Sylvie and ensuring no other universe will face the Conqueror. If he never shows up again, I don't think it will be the dangling thread everyone thought it would be. On that note, it really reminds me of when the Doctor used post-hypnotic suggestion to get humanity to drive the silence off their planet in Day of the Moon. We never actually saw the ongoing result of that, just know that was the...
Again, I haven't seen
status
Doctor Who.
quo was enough. So I think leaving the TVA in the capable hands of Loki's cast to halt the plans of any Kang that ever was or ever will be.
Wait, did he say the TVA is capable? Fucking laughable there.
Is showing more than enough. I said all the way back in January that it would have been bittersweet if Thor and Loki tragically fell just short of a reunion, all thanks to Kang and his dastardly ways. But since it seems like nothing anywhere near close to that scenario is going to happen, then why not entertain the idea that they would indeed reunite? If Chris Hemsworth is looking to retire the character of Thor, and Tom Hiddleston thinks that this could be the twilight phase of Loki, then why not give them a true two-hander buddy movie grand finale? Loki has now been a title character, so don't relegate his name. Call their final adventure.
But the Thor franchise and the Loki franchise is so removed from each other now. I don't see, like, it's possible, but I don't, like, Loki now has to, like, it couldn't be this Loki because he has to sit there and hold the time threads or whatever. The infinitely expanding time threads. So yeah, I don't like the idea too much. Conceptually maybe, but not like, yeah. You could make it work, but I'm not trusting the MCU writers to make anything work at this point.
Thor and Loki. Rather than the movie setting up any kind of further multiversal shenanigans or future MCU movies, pull a Guardians 3 and make it a self-contained wrap-up for these characters and these characters only. I think if the MCU wants to continue, then it needs to focus on endings. Nobody is enthusiastic about RDJ and ScarJo coming back into the fold after their characters got such definitive endings, but I'd put good money on audiences getting excited for a Thor and Loki story done right. Just the prospect.
Yeah, that's the key. My cat just came in. No, that's the key term here, right? Like, getting it right. I just don't trust the MCU to get anything right at this point. You want to talk to the stream? Alaska? You got something to say about Loki? Yeah, I think she's got something to say. Wait. Say something. Guess not. Okay.
Reuniting the pair after everything they've been through is worth the price of admission alone. And both characters have a sizable cast of supporting characters that would work well together. Kang and Mobius, Sylvie and Valkyrie.
Again, just re-record that line instead of doing the... Because most people aren't watching videos anymore. I think most people are listening to them. Or a lot of people are. Yeah, sure it does. Sure.
Would be an Eric Selvig. Simply put, Loki has been a triumph. Whilst the MCU flows around for its Fantastic Four cast or subtracts movies from its ever-changing schedule, it's nice to know there will still be projects like Loki that can get you invested, entertain you, and make you feel something. Because God knows, it's been a while since the MCU has given us that. Next up, What If? I think I might just put a video out a day over the Christmas period and review all of these as they come. A big thank you to my full fat tier patron, Dr. Chike. And
wait, what if is What If getting a second season? Chuck Tingle. Wait. No, okay, we're done with the video. I just want to say, please remember, Loki's one of the worst of the MCU. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna end the stream here. I might do some more Loki shit, who knows. I'm definitely still working on the Loki season 1 video. I might do a season 2 video, we'll see. But that's gonna be a while, the season 1 one as well. Because I'm still in the notes phase, and then comes the scripting phase, and then comes the recording phase and editing phase, and it's the first video I'm really doing of this kind, so it's gonna be a while. I'm also looking for jobs and everything, so I'm working on music, but it's coming. Go watch. Let's put it on screen again. Go watch this.
Of Another Reviews Core, also known as
Go watch Another Reviews Core, aka RCA. ARC is what I tried to say. Number 2, Loki Glorious Circus. I'm on there with the hosts, Red and Unity, and another guest, Operation Bagel, and we went through the whole show, episode for episode, explaining why it's bad. So go watch that, it was fun, and yeah, I don't know, see you next time, goodbye.